Well, the Living Wage Foundation has announced a 10% increase to its rates, which means 500,000 people could see a rise in their paychecks.
Comes as the rate of unemployment, we found out just now, remains unchanged in the last 3 months. And reflecting on this morning's numbers, Work and Pensions Secretary Mel Stride has said that growing the economy and helping more people into work is the government's priority, and so it should be, I would think.
Well, I'm delighted to say that restaurant owner and consumer finance expert Adrian Mills joins us now to tell us more. So, Adrian, break it down for me. Good morning.
Can I ask a question? What is the Real Living Foundation? What is that? Can somebody explain? Because people won't understand.
Well, basically,
I was going to ask.
It's an organisation that actually suggests what the voluntary wage should be.
Right.
This is a voluntary agreement. Not everybody has to sign up to it. It's not government-led, but there are 460,000 people who will benefit, as of today, by an increase in their minimum wage. And that increase takes you, if you're in London, it's £12, and it will go up to £13.50. Sorry, in London, it's £13.15. Outside of London, it's £12.
Fab. So that's the real living wage.
That's
as opposed
the increase. At the national minimum wage, which is £10.42.
Right. So
what's the discrepancy about then? Why is there two different figures?
One's voluntary.
Yeah, you get employers sign up to the voluntary agreement believing that their workforce requires a greater wage. And as everybody would say, everybody requires a greater wage. But there is a downside to it, in my opinion, if you're an employer, right? For the simple reason, I've written it down here. Say you have 10 members of staff, right? It's an extra £1.20 an hour.
Yeah.
That's £12 each. That's £120 for your staff for the day.
Yeah.
For the week, that's £840 extra. For the year, that's £43,000. Plus you're paying national insurance, pension contributions and tax. That's an awful lot of money for an employer to find. And if you actually look at the wage of £13 something for 10 staff over a year, it's nearly £500,000 in wages alone.
And I'm so glad you said that, because my family run a small business and they are still struggling in the wake of COVID, because they're heavily dependent on the tourism industry. And so for them, and obviously this one is voluntary, so I guess it tends to be more big businesses. They're like a small, medium-sized business. If they were to be told just like that, you have to increase it as you have just done, the only answer would to be to take redundancies.
What will happen is, rather than say, I'm going to pay all my staff members, all 10, an extra, whatever it is, £1, £2, they'll go, do you know, we need to lose a couple of members of staff. We need to reduce the staff on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe we'll close on a Monday, which does nobody any favours.
No.
I'm surprised, as a person who cares about people, that your family business wouldn't adopt this voluntary real living wage and give them all far more, even if it means that you do go to the wall.
No, they have absolutely... We've spoken about this on so many occasions, whereby you want to do... And they do. They pay at least the living wage, the national living wage. But obviously, voluntarily, it's like, well, they have to make really, really difficult decisions. But like you've just said, no company wants to lose a member of staff because of,
Absolutely.
I was joking, but what interests me of that first question is this. The difference between the government's minimum wage and this... Surely there should be more cohesion. Surely there should be a figure that suits everybody.
There's a national minimum wage, there's a London living wage, there's a voluntary wage. You're absolutely right. There should be more cohesion, and that's why
it's confusing, right?
It is very confusing. And if you are if you're being employed by a company, and then you realise that your friend's working down the road getting £3 an hour more than you are, then you're probably going to go, do you know something? I want to go and work for that company. But like you say, only the big boys, in my opinion, can afford it.
Can afford to do it. And my argument, and to sort of counteract what you said earlier, I'm totally with you, and that's absolutely what I believe the majority of employers want to do. However, when this is government mandated, this one's voluntary, but other minimum wage rises are not. Governments should take responsibility and go, well, we don't want companies making people redundant either. So if we are going to increase minimum wage, we have to help subsidise that, at least for a short period of time.
I'd want more bang for my buck. I'd want my employees to be more efficient if they want a pay rise. Otherwise, they're out the door.
You come from a Victorian age on this one, I think.
But
what you've
when I was born, dear boy, you had to work. I still write with a quill pen and a
But what you've got to understand as well is the actual law says you can only really work 8 hours a day. So anybody that's working beyond that,
Lazy.
that is by prior agreement with the people at your workforce.
I'll tell you what you should do. 12-hour days, no lunch hour, halve everybody's wages, and every business will be successful.
And only come down the chimney on a Saturday.
Yeah, walk up hill in the morning
Hey,
on the way
lad.
to the factory.
This is from a man who works 3.5 hours a day, 4 days a week. Adrian Mills, thank you so much for joining us
She's
this
not
morning.
wrong.
Hey, I'm the same.
Adi, thank you.
Thank you so much.